Lacrosse leadership community. My name's Ryan Berns. I'm the leader of the Lacrosse Leadership Institute. It's our mission to empower all those that love lacrosse, to recognize the skills that you gain from the sport so that you can live that life you want to live. We're so fortunate for today's guest. Ryan Powell has been a member of the lacrosse community for quite some time, and growing up, him and his brothers were always folks that I looked up to, whether it was seeing them on TV or hearing about their time at Syracuse, representing the country with the USA team or playing professional lacrosse. These guys have been all over it, and now they're having a huge impact in terms of the lacrosse company they formed. A lot of us in Arizona know the Rhino camps that's up at NAU, and I'm feeling very fortunate that Ryan's been able to connect with us today and share a little bit of his story. So Ryan, thank you so much for being here, and please share with those of us that don't quite know your story, how you got involved in lacrosse in the first place and the journey to where you are today.
Yeah, well, thanks a lot for having me on, Ryan. My story in lacrosse is pretty unique and pretty cool. So I was in a elementary gym school or a PE class, and my gym teacher, he brought in a lacrosse stick that he played club lacrosse with at Cortland State, which is a Division III school. So he brought it in, and it was the first time that I had ever seen a lacrosse stick, and it so happened that my brother Casey was in the same class. So he handed us the stick. We only had one. We tried to throw the ball up against the wall, and obviously couldn't throw very well in the beginning, couldn't catch everyone in the beginning, but like immediately kind of got hooked because of the challenges that the stick skills part of the game of lacrosse require. So we got excited. We went home and we asked our dad if he could buy us a lacrosse stick. So, my story is pretty cool in the fact that, I come from a lower middle class family. My dad worked at a paper mill for about 30 years. So it really took some convincing to have him put down the money to buy my brother Casey and I both our own lacrosse sticks. So the story has it is my dad ended up selling one of his shotguns in order to be able to afford the lacrosse sticks that he bought for my brother Casey and I. And so we each got a stick. We grew up in about an hour and a half north of Syracuse in a really small town called West Carthage, New York. There's about 2,500 people in the town, 2 stoplights. And we were the first 2 kids in the town to have a lacrosse stick. So we played for like the first 2 years without knowing any of the rules to the game. We would just go out in the backyard. We would play catch with each other. And, we got hooked on it. We lived right next door to the school. It had an amazing brick wall. We would go out and come up with our own games and play wall ball all the time. And it wasn't really, it was fun for us. It wasn't like we were going out because our coach told us we had to go and do some training or become better lacrosse players. We did really truly enjoy throwing the ball around. So we did that for a couple of years, and then the next thing you know, other kids in our town got lacrosse sticks, and a couple of years after we were first introduced to those lacrosse sticks that day, we got 30 kids that are out in our backyard that are throwing the ball around. So my physical education teacher came and saw what was going on in our backyard, and he decided to start up the first lacrosse program at Carthage High School. Looking at it now, I think he just retired, but he sent over 290 players on to play college lacrosse. And, what happened with my brother and I is really a dream come true. We started out not knowing any of the rules to the game, begging my dad to buy us lacrosse sticks, got those sticks, and now he gets teared up and when he's been interviewed over the years, and he says that it was the greatest investment of his life. And my brother Casey, myself, and my younger brother Mike, we all went and received full scholarship offers from Syracuse and didn't pay a penny to go to college. And here I am. I've been able to play and win national championships, play and represent our country. And a lot of people don't know the backstory of where it all started. And, it's pretty cool and very special to me. And that's why the game means so much to me, and why I'm so passionate about spreading kind of my love for the game of lacrosse, because I want more people to experience the joy that I've received from the game over the years.
Oh, that's absolutely amazing. I didn't understand the depth of your guys' relationship with lacrosse and how it really started. That is absolutely unique and amazing, Ryan. Thanks for sharing with us. And it sounds like you've had a huge journey. Do you have any pinnacle moments that really stand out over the course of your career playing, being a part of lacrosse?
Well, a couple of them for sure. I think that one of them was the big decision that I made when I was getting recruited to go and play college lacrosse. So when I was in high school, I was always overshadowed by my brother Casey. He was the best high school player in the country. And I remember reading articles all the time, and they would be like, Casey Powell scored 5 goals and had 4 assists, and his brother had 3 goals and 2 assists. Like, they wouldn't even say my name in the article. So, when I was making my college decision, I wasn't really sure if I wanted to kind of stay in that shadow and follow Casey to Syracuse, or kind of go off and do my own thing. And I had about 10 full scholarship offers at the time, and Loyola was probably the closest one to getting me. I really like their coaches, and they did an awesome job on my recruiting trip there. But at the end of the day, that's to your question, the pinnacle moment in my lacrosse career was certainly picking to go to Syracuse and playing there. And my life, my lacrosse journey would be a lot different if it weren't for my experience that I had at Syracuse, playing for a legendary coach and winning a national title. So, that part of my journey, that was one of the pinnacles. And then the other one was, in 2010, winning gold for Team USA. That's so special. But, it's one thing to be selected for Team USA, and it's a whole different ball game when you have, 25 of the very best lacrosse players in the world that pick you to become their team captain. So that was one of the most special moments, kind of when Coach got up and addressed the group, that myself and Lehigh University head coach Kevin Cassis, the two of us, were going to be the team captains. And then we captained the team to the gold medal in 2010 in Manchester, England, which is a memory that, I'll remember for the rest of my life for sure.
Oh, that I can only imagine. That's something that has such a big impact on your life, and I can see why that's a pinnacle moment. And I think that is a great transition to ask you, what does leadership mean to you, Ryan?
Yeah, I think that I've always kind of tried to be the hardest working guy. I do that in my business life now, but certainly when I was a lacrosse player, I set a goal for myself when I was at Syracuse, and my brother Casey finished up his time there, and he was the all-time leading scorer at Syracuse with 287 points. And he came into my apartment at Syracuse after he graduated. He came back to visit me during my fall semester of my junior year, and I had a big number 97 on my wall circled. And he's like, "Yeah, what's that 97?" I said, "That's how many points that I need to tie your record." So, I dedicated myself that year to, being the first guy to practice, being the last guy to leave, working extremely hard on my own, wall ball, all that stuff. And then with 18 seconds to go in the national championship game, I got an assist to tie the record. And Casey and I are tied now at number 2 because our younger brother came along and beat us. But setting a goal for myself. And I tell that story just because, like, I look at leadership, having confidence in yourself, and that's you get that confidence because of the way that you prepare. But at the end of the day, I really think it's about your work ethic, and if you lay that down in front of others, around others, then the ones that want to be on your team, and they're going to see the time and effort that you put into it. It's a great tactic to get other people to buy in and follow. So it's leadership to me is leading by example. And I look at this. My brothers were extremely athletic. I was not as athletic as they were, so I had to find other ways to do it. So I tell kids when I go out and I speak in front of them, I'm not the biggest guy, I'm not the fastest guy, I was never the quickest guy, but here I am. I'm in the U.S. Lacrosse Hall of Fame, and looking back at it, it's because of the time and effort that I put into the craft. So that's kind of the leadership that I've always tried to lay down. I'm a vocal guy that was always being very positive. With guys, if they make mistakes, it was still a positive message. Hey, we'll get them next time, type of thing. So that's kind of worked for me, and that's why I've captained a lot of teams and been successful on the field in a leadership role.
And I think that grit, that resiliency to show up every single day, to work hard, bang the wall, show others what it takes to be the best is something that leaders show not only on the lacrosse field, but in professional senses as well. And I think that's the really neat parallel between lacrosse and the real world. And I'd love to hear, do you have something on your wall right now that's the equivalent of the 97? Or what's your big vision or goal right now?
Well, I don't have anything on my wall in the office right now, so there's no kind of taglines or goals that are written up there. But we do have goals of a company. We I run both Rhino Lacrosse, as you mentioned, camps across the country, and take a lot of pride in that. And then I started up Powell Lacrosse, which manufactures lacrosse sticks, uniforms, and things like that about 5 years ago. So we certainly have business goals, and the team's aware of what we're trying to accomplish, but we have goals of becoming one of the big players in lacrosse when it comes to sticks and equipment.
That's awesome to hear that we have that mission still to have such an impact in the sport. And I'll say the PAL stick that I received, I think it was 2 years ago. It was my first season coaching, and they gave me the PAL stick right out of the box, threw perfectly. And from that point, I just have fallen in love with the sticks. And I was so excited to hear when you reached out to us for ASU. I was also speaking with Dan Landon, and he said, hey, you got to speak with Ryan. You need to make sure that you have conversations with those guys, because you guys are everywhere. And I think that's part of being a leader as well, of laying down a foundation, showing up and being that beacon of hope or light for others so that we know what we can accomplish. Ryan, with that said, I know you said you have a few business goals or missions. Is there anything that we can do to help you right now with your mission or vision?
Well, I mean, I don't know enough about kind of what you do with your business and things like that. So I'd love to hear a little bit about what you have going on. I'm not sure if, with what you have going on, if you can help me out, I'd love to hear it and explore.
Awesome. Well then, Ryan, that's probably a conversation for outside of this, because I really want to focus on providing your value to our audience, because that's really what we're about. I do want to pivot back then to one of your pinnacle moments, which was you making the decision to play at Syracuse. Can you share a little bit more about what went into that thought process so that the youth out in Arizona and who else this is touching can start to think about what trade-offs they should be thinking about or how to play at that next level?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Syracuse was so close. And when after I started playing lacrosse, I got to go to the Dome and watch a lot of games. So you know, that fit for me ended up working out at the end. I wasn't sure that it was going to be that because of the story that I shared with you about kind of being in my brother Casey's shadow for so many years. But, you know, I basically, things have changed since my time and getting recruited for sure. You know, everybody is looking to go to the next best showcase and playing on travel teams and things like that. I never did any of that. I went to All-American Lacrosse camp as a kid. That was the highlight of our summer. I played in some leagues, and then I played for my high school. We were fortunate that our high school played about 5 or 6 games every year on Coyne Field at Syracuse University. And the Syracuse coach's office was about 50 steps from the field. So they were able to come and watch a lot of the games that we played in. So fortunate as far as that goes. But I, you know, tell people, like, if you're one of the best players in your area, you're going to get found. You're going to get seen. It doesn't necessarily mean that your parents are shelling out $550 to go to 8 different showcases over the summer. You know, and that's for, you know, I do think that's for some people. I do think that's a way to kind of get yourself out there and be seen by a lot more coaches. But if you're one of the best blue chip players, I'll call them, those guys are going to be found and going to be seen, whether they do the showcases or not. So, you know, I think that across the country, every situation is a little bit different. But I tell younger players now, you know, a couple different criterias for helping with their college process. Number one is, like, where would you want to be in the country? So where do you want to go to college? Would you want to be on the West Coast? Do you want to stay close to home? Do you want to be on the East Coast? And then the next thing is, like, the size of the school, right? What size of school? Are you a small school guy, bigger school guy, type of thing? So that kind of factors into it as well. And then what do you want to study in college? And, you know, do the colleges that I'm interested in have those programs? So I think that narrowing down the search for younger players is important out of the gates, especially for the kids out in Arizona or some of the emerging markets like that. You got to narrow it down first, and then, you know, attack those schools that kind of fit your criteria. And that's reaching out to the coach with an email and letting them know that you're interested in their school, and make sure the player himself does that, not a parent reaching out to the coaches. The coaches don't want to hear from parents. They want to hear from confident young men that make sure that their email's buttoned up and spelt right and all that stuff. So that's kind of what I'm telling younger players now. And, you know, don't feel like you're being left off if you don't have thousands of dollars to you know, spend on flying all across the country and attending every single showcase. There's still hope to get recruited, to be seen, to find an opportunity to go play at the next level, if it's MCLA or you know, college club lacrosse or D3 or D2 or D1. There's so many different opportunities out there for players, and you go and play on a lacrosse team. And from your freshman year, the first time you step on campus, all of a sudden you got 45 great friends. And that's what's pretty unique and cool about lacrosse.
Absolutely. I think that brotherhood, the bond that you instantly have as soon as you make that commitment, and then you're tied to alumni forever as well. And that's a great opportunity to network and learn from mentors that are ahead of you. One of the things, Ryan, that you keep saying that pops up over and over again is the confidence. You said you earn that on the wall. You show up as a leader, you have confidence. Can you share a little bit more about confidence or leadership, or maybe one last thought for our community here before we wrap this call up?
Yeah, I think confidence comes with preparation. You know, I think that it's the hard work and effort that you put in on whatever it is that you're doing kind of behind the scenes. So if you want to become a great piano player or playing the guitar, or you want to do well on a certain subject in school, whatever that is, it requires hard work. There's no way around that at the end of the day. It's going to come easier for certain people. Like I could never play music, but my brother Mike's a very talented musician. But, he's put a lot of time and effort into it. So I think that's like where you build your confidence, is by the preparation, hard work, and determination that you have to be successful at whatever the craft is.
I absolutely agree with that, Ryan. And thank you so much for your time today. I think it's very clear what work you guys put in, why you are confident, why you are and have been a leader of this sport. So thanks for taking the time. Do you have any last thoughts or anything else you'd like to share with our group today?
Yeah, I don't think so. No, I appreciate you having me on, and good luck with everything you got going on. And maybe we can do it again someday.
Hey, Ryan, I really appreciate you. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Bye. Yep, you too.